I guess we can start. So this meeting will now commence at 6:06. The first order of business is roll call. May we please commence roll call?
Yes, 1 second. Okay, Representative Nadala.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Astor.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Nina Maruti.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Hamad.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Dillon.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Show.
Present.
Thank you. Representative Villa Gomez.
Present. Sorry.
Thank you. Representative Akande.
Present.
Thank you. Representative De Bruin.
Present.
Thank you.
The next order of business is reading and approval of the minutes. Please take this time to read over the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, then the minutes will stand as approved. The next order of business is reading and approval of the agenda. Please take this time to read over the agenda. Are there any corrections to the agenda? If not, then the agenda will stand as approved. The next order of business is public comment. Is there any public comment?
Yes, we should have one from Diana. Diana?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. You have 4 minutes usually, but you can say what you need to say.
Okay. So almost 2 weeks ago, I requested a laptop from UIC. They said they still had laptops in stock to give to students that didn't have one. And I haven't heard anything back from them since, and I've been having to access my classroom. Blackboard collaborates through my phone, and it always disconnects, and I don't get audio a lot of the time, so it's just really inconvenient that I haven't heard anything back from UIC.
Thank you. I don't know if Dahlia wants to say anything.
Yeah, okay, I was just making sure I wasn't muted. So basically, Diana kind of came to me with this, I think a couple days ago, and we kind of just discussed how the ACCC didn't like want any help from us and things like that. And I'm assuming that Diana is not the only student that they haven't gotten a response to. So that in its own is frankly alarming and not okay, especially because finals are coming up, and so it's going to be even harder to be administering tests and doing all those other things. And even though, like, again, we only have 2 weeks left, so on one side you could say, well, there's only 2 weeks left, do I really need it? But on the other side, there is also it's the hardest time of the semester that's coming up, and it's kind of that time where there needs to be a reliable internet access and access to a computer. So I guess I was just wondering, us as a body, what can we do to help Diana and students like Diana?
Yeah, so we can probably address this more and probably like items for discussion. But I can also in my report talk about the communication I had with ACCC, and Daisy put together a quote for laptops, and we were gonna help out, but the institution said that they were having dollars. So if Diana is experiencing this, I know she's not the only one, and so we'll work like within the next 24 hours to kind of get a response from ACCC and see what's going on, and hopefully have that figured out. And I know you're probably not the only student who has, like, if there's a wait list, like they didn't even say anything about a wait list to me, so yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming up and bringing up this concern.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so We will be addressing that, as Taylor said, probably in the next 24 hours or so. But until then, we could move on to the next order of business, which is ex officio reports. So may we please have the report of the advisor?
Good evening, all. I hope you all are well. At this point, I do not have a report. And so then I will yield my time back to the body for questions.
Are there any questions? Okay, so if not, then we can move on to the next order of business, which is officer reports. May we please have the report of the president?
Yeah, good afternoon. So my report includes first, Daniela CC'd me on a email regarding the prices for the cost for the prizes that SAB will be giving out, that USG will be paying for. So we're kind of like I don't want to say co-hosting, but co-hosting because I don't know another word, the Virtual Spirit Week and paying for some prizes. So I am sending the RFF to all of you right now via email. This is coming out of discretionary funds, so we do not have to vote on it, but I want you all to be aware of the costs that we're incurring, which is totally doable, so it's of no concern to me, and I hope it isn't for you. I'll read it off. It says they're buying 3 board games for prizes today, popcorn for prizes on Wednesday, Domino's pizza for prizes on Friday, and a speaker for end of week prizes or like a general prize, and it will come out to $766 for us. So we want to do that just, as fun ways to engage with the student body. Then second, Jocelyn and Daisy. I was trying to figure out the plaque, but then I couldn't figure it out. I was overwhelmed. So Daisy and Jocelyn are taking on that. And I think Daisy worked on it and emailed. You just sent an email about that, so we can have a plaque up in the office. Like, they do one every year of the officers and all the members, so you all can be remembered for forever. And then I'm working on an annual report. This is something that lots of organizations do to talk about what they did during the school year, or during their school year or whatever. So I thought it would be beneficial for us to highlight. It doesn't have to be like completely thorough because we're not required to do it, but highlight some of the things that we did, and major events that we had, and like who we engaged with. So, we can show that we were doing things throughout the year. And then I contacted Dean Wright, and I put it in our group chat, but University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign donated money towards their Dean of Students Emergency Grants. And so we're going to look into the logistics of that and see if we can do the same thing and follow suit, because those are grants that go directly to students. And at first I thought we couldn't do it because it was quote unquote philanthropic, but I think since it's becoming from the institution, it may not be considered that, but I don't know. We'll see, and I'll keep you all updated. Fifth, the provost will be at our meeting next week, so she'll be on this Zoom call with us. So that's the provost who's over all academic affairs. That means you should come with questions to ask her, because she has the answers, literally. Like, she's a decision maker for that. And we had originally planned to have her at our meeting like way back in January, like for this meeting, and I thought it wasn't working with her schedule, but she says she's still willing and excited to meet with us. So that'll be next Monday. I emailed all of you a federal call to action. The Office of Government Relations for the system is putting out, like, they're asking for more money, obviously, because there's so many costs that are being incurred by the institution for things that are going on, like to maintain facilities where we're giving refunds for, and for like costs for, I don't know, like there's a list of things. I can't list it all out right now. So asking for more money, and all of the CARES Act, 50% of the money allocated to public institution goes towards students, so, or supposed to go towards students. So we have to look into to see how they are going to give that money out, because I don't think any of the University of Illinois have determined what that looks like. Some universities out in the Illinois land have talked about like cutting students' checks. I don't think that's something any school will do, but I think those are the type of thought processes they're trying to like work through. So we need to be influential and trying to help them make that decision that best serves the student body. I also wrote a land recognition that I talked about like way back in the day, as part of kind of bringing accountability to the university. So that's in like review with the Public Affairs Office right now, and I'll keep you updated on whether or not that proposal goes to the chancellor. And then lastly, I checked in with Janet from the UIC library about open source materials and how coincidentally everyone has had to go to e-learning, which makes it literally is putting your curriculum online and making it not open source, but digital, which is like very close to what open source is supposed to look like. And so she's meeting with people to try to figure out how, what their barriers are, and if they could keep the kind of things that they're doing right now to make learning more accessible to students in the future, because it goes hand in hand. So I yield for any questions. Sorry, I know that was a lot.
Does anyone have any questions?
I do. Did we hear back from the food pantry?
Yeah, so Dean Wright reached out for me. I can send y'all these emails, but I'm not gonna do that. I sent a follow-up email every day last week asking to meet, and I haven't heard back anything. I'd still love to connect and fun, but I just have to talk to someone. So I'll keep reaching out until the end of the school year, but I haven't had the chance to talk with her yet.
Taylor, oh, sorry, raising my hand.
No, you're good.
I will set up a meeting, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? If not, then the report of the president will be filed. Next, we have the report of the vice president.
Hello, everyone. I hope that you've had a good weekend and a good Monday. So regarding the self-defense seminar that I've been working on with a few departments, they have confirmed the first virtual seminar to be next Thursday, April 30th at 2 p.m. And they hope to have the contract in hand by soon. I'm going to be working with Dean Wright on asking CSI to cover our share of the cost, and then in the future having funds from USG transferred to CSI. Another thing is, Taylor mentioned it briefly, Daisy and I are working on getting the plaque that we hang in the office. So I've sent the relevant documents that I used last year to Daisy, and I've just been working on her this afternoon on just formatting and like what the process of ordering it would look like. I was also reached out by a student regarding the CARES Act funding that UIC is receiving. So I emailed Vice Chancellor Rex Tolliver to ask a few questions regarding the distribution of the $14.9 million that are going, or at least $14.9 million that should be going to student financial aid, whether that money is going to be used to recuperate the cost of the service fee, and if he could be transparent in what that money is used to for students. So offering a budget. So that's something that I sent today at a student's request, and I'm just waiting to hear back from that. But other than that, I yield for questions.
Are there any questions? If not, then the report of the vice president will be filed. Next, we have the report of the treasurer.
Unfortunately, Steve has not been communicating with me and not responding to my text, so I don't have any report.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the report of the speaker. So, hi guys. I hope you're doing okay, staying safe, staying home as much as you can. Over this past week, well, today specifically, I got the email from Taylor regarding the plaque, and I worked on that today. I just sent it to her, and I think that's pretty much it for my report. But I want to let you know that I'm always happy to help. If you guys need help with anything, any documents or finding information, anything like that, I'm here to help. So if anything, feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so if not, my report will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Chief of Staff.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. I have, I think, two things. My first thing is that I've sent out 2 letters of strikes that are going to be discussed by the e-board later this week or sometime next week. So whenever those are processed, you'll be hearing about them. My second thing is transition documents / packages. This isn't necessarily for the body as a whole, but more so for the e-board and people that are going to be transitioning power over for their positions next year. I, in the very beginning of this, wanted to have a very loose kind of format in which this is going to happen. I really want it to be up to you how much you put in that, how much, how little, how, like, if you want to be really extensive, like, I approve, go for it. But if you just want to write things that are on a need-to-know basis, then you can also do that. But it's going to be, I'm going to try and send out like a very informal kind of, this is what it should look like. Later on this week, I tried to get it done by today, but I'm still working on it. So first you're going to have like a title page, and then if you would like, then you can definitely go ahead and write a letter to whoever is going to be taking your position. And then you can make sure to include, sorry, I have notes everywhere, but you make sure to include things that have like helped you manage your time, both between USG and like with schoolwork, and like if you have a job, how you like did all of those things kind of on a more informal side. On a more formal side, like skills that have helped you pass bills and resolutions, events or yearly initiatives that like you're involved with or your committee is involved with specifically, and how and when those usually occur, things that they need to know to be able to kind of have them occur in the next years. I would say leave a contact list for contact that you have found really helpful within your term period, and also contacts that have helped you kind of within student government. So let's say Taylor helped me a lot like getting into my role as a chief of staff, and so with her consent I would say like to the future chief of staff, maybe reach out to Taylor, she was really helpful, or I reached out to my president and that was really helpful to me. So if it's something like that, if it was a key person that was able to help you, then I would strongly suggest to leave their contact information, however only if they consent to you doing so. I would say also general funding expenses of that position. So if you are spending a specific amount of money every year that you know is going to be spent, then I would say make sure that you document that. If it's an event that you have and it's generally the same amount every year, then I would document that. Just like little things that you know are really important, put in this pamphlet, this document that you're going to have. Once again, I'm going to try and send it out this week just for you to see. And then I'm also going to try and have follow-up meetings with all of eBoard and all of the people that are going to be writing these transition documents, and just make sure that you guys are up to date, informed, and prepared to kind of send it off. I lied, I don't only have 2 things. Third thing, with Taylor and Dean Wright, I'm trying to find out a good time for an eBoard meeting. So if you guys could all privately, like all of eBoard, if you guys could privately chat me the times that you are available within this week from Wednesday to Friday, please do so we can try and figure out a good time for an e-board meeting. And I had a fourth thing, but it is not in my notes, so I'm not going to say it. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Dahlia? Okay, so if not, then the report of the Chief of Staff will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee Chair.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself as well. I have no report today, but if you do have anything in mind that you would like to work on and you want some opinion or anything, please hit me up. I'm more than welcome. You can text me or anything. But that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? If not, then the report of the Chairwoman of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Legislative Affairs Committee Chair. Okay, Arid said that she wasn't able to make it to this meeting. Is anyone reading her report? Okay. Okay, so if not, then we can move on to the report of the Public Relations Committee Chair.
Yeah, so hello everyone. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy at home with your families and your loved ones. I do not have a report for today, but I just wanted to say that if you have anything you would like us to share via our social media platforms or anything you would like us to raise awareness for, please reach out to me personally or to any of my public relations committee members or people. We're more than happy to help you and work on anything you'd like to work on together. That's all, and thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Nada? If not, then the report of the Chairwoman of Public Relations Committee will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Student Life Committee Chair.
Hello, everyone. I do not have a report for today, so I'll just yield my time back to the board or for anyone that has questions for me.
Does anyone have any?
This is directed at everyone, so having just an individual messages to y'all. Any people, e-board especially, but non-e-board as well, all members, please send me anything you want highlighted in the annual report with a short paragraph so that's describing it, that can, I don't know, be a part of it. I just needed to say that instead of like sending messages. So and that includes you, Marianne, since this is your question time. Sorry.
Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, so if not, the report of the Chairwoman of the Student Life Committee will be filed. The next order of business is old business, and we have Resolution 2020 S10-801. Jocelyn, would you like to introduce that to us?
You're muted, sis.
Sorry. So as I was saying, let me pull it up right now. So as we discussed last year, this is basically to provide the Commuter Student Resource Center with the funding needed on our part to have the self-defense workshop this April 30th and hopefully next semester, if not later this summer. So I'm pulling up right now, 2020. This is meeting 10, correct?
This is meeting 11.
11, sorry. So meeting 10 was last week. Okay. So resolution 2020-S10-801 is as follows. Whereas the Commuter Student Resource Center determined that commuter students have shown an interest in a self-defense seminar program accessible to them, and whereas Vice President Jocelyn Bravo, on behalf of USG, has been involved in the planning of a self-defense seminar program for UIC students, And whereas Wingsun, Illinois, the vendor will be charging $1,100 for 2 one-hour virtual seminars for UIC students that will take place in late April and May/June. And whereas all participating departments, including CSI and FSL, are being asked by the Commuter Student Resource Center to contribute approximately $140 to fund this program, then let it be resolved that USG asks CSI to pay on their behalf and for USG to transfer approximately $140 to CSI to fund the self-defense seminar program.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding this resolution or any amendments that they would like to make?
My only question or comment, I guess, is if there is a flyer and if we are able to post it, or if there are any determined dates yet.
So as I mentioned in our report, the first virtual self-defense workshop is next Thursday. And I believe CSI is in charge of the digital marketing and everything. So once they share any information, I'll make sure to share it with our USG account to post and with all of you guys. I got the email from Christina from Commuter Student Resource Center that the cost would be told to us Friday afternoon, but it hasn't been. So I'm just waiting on that to determine how much. And I think once we determine how much, then we'll start promoting it more. Any other questions or comments?
Okay, so we will be voting for this today. All those in favor of Resolution 2020 S10801, please say aye.
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 Thank you. All that opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? Okay, so the ayes have it. Resolution 2020 S10801 has passed. Okay, so the next order of business will be new business, and there is none. So we can move on to the next order of business, which is nominations. Taylor, would you like to take over?
Sure. Okay. So in case you didn't read my email today, I'm going to explain the process really fast. I'm going to pull it up so I can read exactly what I sent this morning. These are nominations for the positions of Treasurer and Speaker of the House for the 2020-2021 school year. That's so weird to say. Weird as in like 2020 is a weird thing to say. I can't find it. Anyway, so first we will open the floor for nominations. Anyone is able to nominate either yourself
or... Do you want me to say it?
Huh?
I have it pulled up in front of me.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. So it goes, number 1, nominate members for treasurer and speaker. Number 2, nominated members accept or decline the nomination. Number 3, nominees give speeches as to why they would like to hold the office. Number 4, nominees leave Zoom individually so that body can discuss their nominations. Number 5, a voting link via Google Forms is sent out. Number 6, voting takes place. And number 7, treasurer and speaker are announced and assume roles with the new administration.
Yes, and so the voting will take place. I mean, Dean Wright, you can tell me what's okay. I was thinking the voting takes place after this meeting. It can take place during the meeting. We're going to create the Google document, Google form, and then we'll announce by midnight tonight what the votes are. And then, I mean, Dean Wright will be on there, shared on the Google form, so we can verify that all of the members voted, and the members that are present right now voted, and that it's like tallied correctly. It'll be digital, so there's no like tallying to do.
Correct.
Okay, so everyone's good, understands the process. Any questions? Okay, so Daisy, you can open the floor for nominations for a treasurer and then speaker, or vice versa, whatever you want to do. And then said person can accept their nomination or decline, and then we'll move on to the speaking. And then when we want to discuss, we'll ask each nominee to leave the Zoom call. And then I guess we'll send you a text message and you can come back.
When we ask nominees to leave the Zoom call, do we want to pause recording?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anna, can we do that?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. Yes, thank you. Daisy, it's in your hands.
Okay, thank you. So for nominations, let's start with the Speaker of the House nominations. So would anyone like to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Daisy.
Thank you. I accept your nomination. Taylor, would I say my speech now or would it be later?
Finish doing the nominations for that, and then we'll
Okay.
do nominations for treasurer, and then we'll do speeches.
Okay. All right. Are there any other nominations for the position of Speaker of the House? Okay. So if not, then we can move on to nominations for treasurer. Does anyone, would anyone like to nominate for the position of treasurer?
Yes, me. Can I talk now?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to nominate UG member and my PRC committee deputy chair, Deepa, to be our treasurer for next year. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to nominate Anshu for treasurer.
I accept your nomination. Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you. Deepa, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I accept the nomination.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Okay. So if not, then we can move on to the speeches. So since we did speaker first, I guess I'll say my speech. Thank you guys. Thank you, Missy, for nominating me. It means a lot to me. I'd be really happy if you guys elected me as your speaker for next year. Over the last year, I've been showing, or I've been shadowing Jocelyn in her former position as speaker. And I learned a lot about making the meeting packets and Robert's rules and RFFs and stuff like that. And in just one semester, I'm sure you guys have seen how much progress I have made as speaker. But I believe that there is even more room for growth. And I would be just really happy to work with the next year's e-board and members again in the next academic year to bring USG to a welcoming and productive environment. And I would be really happy if you guys voted for me. Thank you. All right, so next we can move on to the speeches of the treasurer nominations. So Deepa, would you like to say your speech?
Absolutely. So hi, everyone. I've decided to run for treasurer. Firstly, being a USG member has been an absolutely amazing experience over the past year. I've enjoyed working with other members and contributing all that I can to help us reach our mission and goals together. Also, I prioritize stepping up as a leader during my first year by being co-chair of the Public Relations Committee and also being a member of the Legacy Gala Committee before campus closed. So because of this, I really wanted to take on a bigger role within USG as the next treasurer. Even though I didn't work directly with our past USG treasurer, I did do a lot of research to really develop a strong understanding of what this position calls for and what its duties are, which includes creating a budget, organizing accounting records, and creating funding guidelines. Additionally, I did request funding myself during this semester, so I gained a lot more knowledge surrounding what funding USG can do and the forms that need to be filled out to go with it. Furthermore, I've had experience in other organizations that is applicable for being treasurer in both student council and in a religious youth group in the past. I have dealt with budgets that have been upwards to around $50,000. So seeing how those were allocated, I gained a lot of knowledge on how to ensure financial success for an organization. And last week, I was elected as a treasurer for the Honors College Advisory Board. So I really believe that those two positions can go hand in hand to make me a better overall treasurer. Lastly, I just want to be able to contribute my leadership skills to USG on a greater level. I put 100% into all the responsibilities that I have, and I love to collaborate with others to really put out the best job possible that we can. Also, I always prioritize innovation, and I make sure to elevate what we can do as a group because, or elevate as a group so that we could just grow as an organization and have a better outreach. So overall, because of all these qualities and experiences, I really want to be able to give what I can as the next treasurer. But I also wanted to take note and let you all know that next semester, so in the fall, I will be having class till 6 p.m. on West Campus, so that I would be late about 25 to 30 minutes to each meeting. So I wanted to let you all know that, since that's a really important factor going into making this decision. But I have no doubt in my mind that I'd still show up to meetings and be sure to do my part as treasurer for USG.
Thank you. Okay, Anshu, would you like to say your speech?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for the nomination. I would like to start off by thanking each and every one of you for the incredible work you've been doing this year. I know these are hard times, and I commend you for pushing through. As some of you know, I was in USG last academic school year as well. During the almost 3 semesters I've been a part of this organization, I have learned many valuable skills. I have learned how to be a good leader, how to be a part of something greater than myself, how to use my voice and vote for good. But this is a speech for the position of treasurer. Ever since I have been a part of USG, I have been involved and a part of the Treasury Committee. Learning new things along the way, I started off as just a representative working under Jack, the last year's treasurer, and Steve, who was deputy treasurer at the time. While working under Jack, I learned a lot of the duties and responsibilities of the Treasury Committee. I learned how to reach out and plan events such as the Environmental Gala. I learned to communicate within our organization and have productive discussions with other organizations to get stuff done. With those skills I've learned last year, and after hearing the opening for the position of deputy treasurer, I applied and got the honor. Although Steve's communication has been poor at times, I still had some takeaways from this experience of being deputy treasurer. I learned more about how the Center for Student Involvement plays in the bigger picture. I learned more about the request for funds process. I learned more about external organization funding and experimenting with food orders from time to time. While working under our 2 past treasurers closely, I have learned the good and the bad of their respective processes. I learned that Jack's way of communication is more effective. I have learned that letting other members make important decisions and weighing their opinions is healthy and effective. I have learned that Steve's way of teaching how to do things has helped me understand the process more. I aim to take the good of both past treasurers and implement it to better this organization. Now that I've explained some of the things I have learned throughout the past 3 semesters, I want to throw some ideas out there for some future projects I would be interested in working on if I end up becoming your next treasurer. As we all know, times are getting hard for many students and staff alike. These months of no work and isolation causes financial and emotional tolls on everyone. I would like to start having talks about creating a relief fund for students which have been experiencing extra hard times, maybe being able to assist with food or other necessities alike. I would also like to hold a number of panel discussions which talk about important topics such as staying safe during a future pandemic like this one, or any other suggestions any of you have. It has been an honor working with you all thus far, and I hope to see you all next semester to get more things done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now Deepa, Anshu, and myself, we can exit the Zoom call. And then Taylor, just to confirm, you guys are going to text us when it's time to come back in, right?
You're muted, Taylor.
Muted. Yeah. Yes, stay close to your phone and email.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll see you guys soon.
And I have just sent the voting link out to the voting members. So please submit your votes by 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, April 20th, 2020. And we will get those announced as soon as possible.
All right, thank you. The next order of business is items for discussion, and it looks like there aren't any. So we can move on to the next order of business, which is announcements. Does anyone have any announcements?
Point of order, we previously discussed that the ACCC thing that was brought up in public comment will be discussed under items of discussion. Would we be discussing that in items of discussion?
I believe that would be during announcements, because items for discussion is something that can be amended in the beginning of when we are amending the agenda. So would it be okay if we talk about it during announcements?
Taylor's gonna say something.
I thought we could always discuss, like there can be things that are planned for items of discussion, but you can also just have open discussion during items of discussion.
Point of order, because it was announced during discussion that it would be discussed during at this point. You surely should be discussing it now versus during announcements.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, Dahlia, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah. So my issue with what's happening currently is the ACCC has not asked for help that I know of and that I have discussed with Taylor. They have, and on the other side of the spectrum, they have also not been given, they're not giving out the computers that a lot of students probably need, and they don't know who to go to. The only reason that Diana was able to come to me is because we were just discussing like school in general, and she brought it up kind of in passing. We need to have somebody figure out what is going on and figure out how we can get computers to those that need them.
Yes. And I would like to add to that I'm looking at the emails right now. So I reached out originally on Monday, March 30th to inquire about what they were doing in terms of laptops and hotspots and if we could help with the funding of that. I talked to a woman named Cynthia, who is the Assistant Vice Chancellor and Chief Information Officer for UIC. And she's the Executive Director of ACCC specifically. And she gave me some details. And then I spoke with Anthony, who is the Associate Director of Service Delivery for ACCC and Client Service Solutions. And literally verbatim in this email, it says, we would like to ask that rather than undergraduate student government purchasing laptops on your own, you encourage those students who are in need to fill out a request form that they'd like to partner with us and how we could make sure that students were getting word that these resources were accessible. So I'll definitely follow up on that email and let you all know, but I think it would be very beneficial to inquire on the Facebook pages and with students you know who else has not received the services that they've asked for, because if Diana came to the meeting and was expressing this sentiment, she cannot be alone. I did not know there was a wait list that existed. That in itself is problematic. So
I have another comment about ACCC. I personally have also been having some issues with my email, and I did send them a message on their website asking them for help and to resolve that issue. But they never got back to me, and my email is still not working. And I sent that, I'm pretty sure, at the beginning of the month. So it's been a good 2 to 3 weeks already. So yeah, just another thing that I wanted to bring up. Does anyone have any other comments?
Hi, this is Nifemi. I work for ACCC during the semester, but right now we're not working at all. So there's no information that I know, but I know that none of the student workers are working. So I think my boss said it's just the actual staff of the school that are working. So I don't know whether I can try and pass some information along to them and just let them know that, hey, people are trying to reach us, and even though we're not working right now, this is the time that people need us the most. So I can shoot them an email and just be this is what USG is saying and this is what students are saying. So just passing the message along. Maybe since I work for them, they'll reply me. I don't know. But
yeah, definitely. Please do that, especially to your supervisor and their supervisor, and if they have a supervisor, all
okay.
Those. And then additionally, are you getting paid?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Just making sure, because there's student workers out here who aren't. So we've been having to follow up on that.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Can I just make a statement about that? So if you do know of a student worker who is not getting paid, please have them contact Carmen Garza, who's the Director of Student Employment, so that she's able to reach out to their supervisors.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll
What was
definitely.
her name again? Sorry.
First name Carmen, last name Garza, Garca. She's the director for student employment.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question on that. Is it just for students who are working during the pandemic, or because that's what I'm confused on when it comes to the payment. Or is all student workers getting it, or only those who are working right now?
No, it's all student workers. The university has made a commitment that all student workers were to get paid. Now, I know that some departments may not be paying them all the hours that they were working, but most departments are, and which is why I'm suggesting that all students reach out to the director so that she's able to advocate for a student.
Okay, thank you.
The way that she described it was you were supposed to turn in a average of hours you work per week to your
Correct.
Yeah, and then you would get paid based on that. So
correct.
Are there any other comments regarding ACCC? Okay, so if not, then are there any other items for discussion that anyone would like to talk about?
my last, which is we can discuss if you have questions in that terms, is again an annual report. We haven't done one before, but I think it is beneficial to the organization. This highlights our goals and things that we've accomplished throughout the year. Thinking about impact, how many organizations did you partner with? How many emails did you send? How many students did you engage? If you have something you want added, send me a title and like a 1 or 2 paragraphs that gives a short description of the program and people who like the impact of whatever the program was. And I'd like that by Friday, Saturday, so I can have it ready on Monday for the meeting.
This is Dean Wright again, and if I could just advocate for that, because what it does, it creates a sense of continuity for the incoming officers. It creates a history, as well as it lets them know, provides them some information about what was accomplished, and helps them perhaps think about how they would like to move USG forward or not. With some of the initiatives that were started. So I like it for a sense of continuity. And so I hope it's something that USG continues with.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any other items for discussion?
Just really quick, this is Dahlia. On top of Taylor's thing, if you would like to fill out the form for resolution, or more so for events, I can send that form over to Taylor if you fill it out before Friday or Saturday, so you don't have to send out 2 emails that are going to be depicting the same thing.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions for Dahlia? Okay. Does anyone have any other items for discussion?
One more thing, and this is kind of Daisy's thing, but for the nameplate, the office plaque. This is Jocelyn, by the way. We're going to need your preferred name, so Daisy can set that up, but just know that there'll be an email shortly asking what your preferred name is, so that when Daisy orders the office plaque, it'll have your name as you want it.
Just to confirm, Taylor, I already sent you the template with the current names as they are written in the agenda. If you haven't ordered it yet, then I can definitely send an email to members asking them for their preferred name. But please let me know.
I have not ordered it. No, I haven't even written the RFF. So you please get bird names in, and then we'll get that into the Dean of Students office this week.
Okay. So what do you think would be a good deadline for that?
I'd say like Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna be sending you all an email in that case to ask you for your preferred name, that the name that you would like us to put on the plat. And if you don't reply to that email, we'll just use the one from the meeting agenda. But otherwise, if there is any difference, then please reply to that email. And yeah, are there any questions, comments, other items for discussion? Okay, if not, the next order of business is announcements. Are there any announcements?
Yeah, this is Daniela. I was just wanting to say that regarding our collaboration with SAP and USG, please participate and please tell your friends to participate. Our first challenge is Meme Monday, and we're going to be receiving entries till midnight, and you just have to recreate and post your favorite meme. So we will be giving out 2 to 3 best memes. The What Do You Meme board game. So please throughout the week and today just participate and encourage other students to participate, because this is just a really good way to keep student involvement and just stay positive during this time.
Daniela, I have a quick question for you. If you're doing that, if you're participating, does your profile have to be one that everyone can see, so not private?
Yes, for us to receive the notification, it does need to be public.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments or questions for Daniela?
You can also just put it public for like 10 minutes. You just need to receive our message asking for your as soon as you post it, we'd ask you for your information, your UIN, your UIC email and everything, and then that's pretty much all you need from us. So if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just participate and encourage other students to participate.
That's good to know. Thank you. Okay, are there any other announcements?
Please fill out the forms that I sent last week. They're very important. I know that the due date that I set was the week after finals. However, I'm going to do them gradually if I have more than one until that date, rather than I am going to leave these until the next earlier week. They're really important into the proper transition of these documents, because not only will I be receiving those, I also need to compile them into a document of their own. So it's really important that I get those before the deadline so that I can send them out as soon as possible, and the transition into next year's e-board can be very smooth. So please fill those out. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions for Dalia? Okay, so if not, does anyone have any other announcements?
Yeah, I do. Hi, it's Aitana. So if you guys have any links that you want me to put in the link tree, please feel free to email me, message me, and I can put that link right up in the bio. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we should promote the call to action that UIC has, like the letter to our state legislators. I don't know if we should make a graphic for that, but at least like a screenshot of the website and then adding the link to our bio would be a good way to promote it to students.
Yeah, I can definitely send it. My office has a small graphic for it because they do call to act. There'll be another one towards the end of the like in May about the state budget. But yeah, definitely I can get a graphic and send it to all of y'all and specifically Aitana so we can promote.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Or any other announcements? Okay, so if there are no more announcements, then we can move on to the next order of business, which is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
There has been a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? Okay, this meeting is now adjourned at 7:26 p.m.